Hello and welcome to this candidate forum for KPFT. This is one of several hour-long or half-hour-long conversations between candidates running for a seat on the local KPFT local board. My name is Tim Langford. I'm with the League of Women Voters of the Houston area, and I will be your host and moderator. KPFT is a listener-sponsored station here in Houston, one of the 5 stations that make up the Pacifica network, the country's first and only independent radio network. The views expressed during this program are those of the candidates, not that of KPFT-FM or the League of Women Voters, and the League's participation should not be seen as an endorsement of any candidate or cause. So, now to the ground rules. The candidates are seated in the order they will be asked questions. In this case, we do have 2 candidates with us today for this segment, asking in a clockwise manner, starting with my left, and Nancy, and then we'll go to Anisa for the second question. Random drawing to determine the lineup of the candidates was performed by the National Election Supervisor prior to taping. And each candidate will have an opportunity for a 2-minute opening statement, and then we'll begin the questioning. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to answer the questions posed to them, and each of the remaining candidates will be given 30 seconds to respond. The original candidate will then be given 2 minutes to respond to the feedback. So this should go fairly quickly because we just have the 2 candidates today. And we'll just continue going back and forth until we get to about 30 minutes or so. Everybody understand and agree to the ground rules? Wonderful. All right, let's start with Nancy. Nancy, you have 2 minutes for an opening statement.
Okay. Opening statement. My name is Nancy Saibara-Naitomi. I've been a volunteer for KPFT for about 10 years now, and I've gone to all the committee meetings and the board meetings, even when I was not on the local station board. So about 6.5 years on the board under the belt. And how many minutes do I have?
You have about a minute.
45
minute. Seconds.
Oh, hurry. Okay. So I welcome all the listener sponsors. Thank you for taking care of our station and our network, Pacifica. It's in dire need of more participation with you, and because of you we exist. We have big problems to tackle, very big problems, financial problems, problems with bylaws violations, problems with financial non-transparency. These are things that need to be, they're not probably known because we don't have a chance to talk with you or communicate with the membership, and this is not good. We need to have more shows where the people can call in, and this candidate forum by the bylaws has to have listener call-ins, and it's in violation of the bylaws, this show. So we need to do this on the radio. That's our real turf, on the radio. Did I keep talking?
No, if you're finished, we can go on.
We have a big problem in the Pacifica National Board, which is the actual board. The local station board is just a subcommittee of the national board. Still important, though. And the national board is, the majority is misguided and has gone into a horrible contract, an unethical contract of $3.2 million. And all the collateral is all our assets, our 5 signals, our archives, our precious archives, which are world treasures, the oldest audio recordings in the world since 1949, and all our stations and our properties and our buildings. So, you know, this is an unethical loan. And we need to have, anybody out there watching this, have money, 3.2, to pay off this unethical loan, and then we sell the properties that we have, because we don't need to broadcast on expensive Montrose area. We don't need expensive land.
I'll have to stop you right there.
Okay,
Time's expired. We'll get to that here in just a moment. Anissa, you have 2 minutes for your...
In the 1970s, when Pacifica was created in California, it was by a bunch of brave souls with a wonderful idea, and I'm sure they had no imagination that we would expand to 5 states and 5 big network stations. Pacifica is very unusual because we are listener sponsored. We are the boots on the ground. We are here for you. So please call in.
You done?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to the question and answer portion of this. The order of the questions are being chosen by me, and you've all been provided the questions beforehand, but not the order in which they will be asked. All right, so Nancy, you're going to be up first. What do you think are the practical implications of membership rights with respect to the station's decision-making processes?
Okay, in the bylaws, there's no real clear definition of what the members' rights are. But practically, you would imagine, or you would agree, that they have a right to have oversight of their money, that their donations are being spent correctly, right? And so this is a problem at KPFT, and it's been so for over a decade and a half, more than that. No financial documents are offered to the local station board to look at. And this year, last month, we got the first bill that I've ever seen in 10 years. It was a telephone bill. We're spending around $40,000 a year on to a telephone company, and that's always every year. Somebody says, oh, well, let's try to attack this telephone bill. But we owe $3.2 million, and we got to pay this off. Otherwise, this October, we're going to start paying huge interest payments. Plus, we have to pay back the principal. And the collateral is everything, everything. The signals, the land, the archives, everything we have, which is way more than the debt. So we cannot go into bankruptcy court. No bankruptcy judge is going to say, oh, you have to do this but your assets are more than what you owe. It's not going to go into bankruptcy. So all those rumors that you heard on the air about we must go into bankruptcy, we must do Chapter 11, even from our own former managements saying that's not true, that's scare tactics. And so we have some bad things going on, and it's sort of like the country. The people don't know. They're making their bread and butter. They're busy. They don't know they don't have C-SPAN in front of them. Not everybody can afford cable TV and watch C-SPAN all day. And what are the Congress doing with with our rights and with our money, with our tax money? So it's sort of like that. And we need that LSB show, which reports to the people and takes live questions from the audience. And the general manager, it's in his job description, he's supposed to have a time, half the time is for callers.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you right there.
Thank you.
That's okay. Anisa, you have about 30 seconds to respond.
Well, there's a lot of things. There's a little grain of truth and a lot of rumors and a lot of scare tactics and hostility in the workplace. That is probably the greatest thing, is the work environment that a lot of our programmers have had to face.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it right there then. We'll go on to both of you. Thank you both for answering those question and response. And now you have 2 minutes to respond to what she was saying.
Oh, I thought she had 30 seconds to respond to comment about what I said. No?
Yes, that's how it works. But we did the 30 seconds, so now it's your turn.
Okay. So I'm supposed to give my closing. I see. All right. So we have misguided KPFT LSB board right now. The majority is supporting breaking of bylaws, and I think the newer members, they don't realize it because they haven't understood the bylaws yet. And it takes understanding of the bylaws, 45 pages so far we have, and the Robert's Rules of Order, and history and tactics, strategy, political tactics, all this, it takes time. And so it will take time, but we're running out of time. We need to hurry up and be transparent. Be transparent. We have one good thing. Pacifica has hired an accounting firm called NETA, N-E-T-A, and they're on the East Coast somewhere, I forgot, North Carolina, I think. And they're going to oversee all the 5 different stations' accounting. So at least we have some oversight now, and maybe we can fresh, clean, get really documents given to the board and to the finance committee I've only seen one telephone bill in 10 years now. So it's up to you members. You care about this station. Call in because it's your money. It's your station. That land is your land. What else do I want to say? Yeah, the Pacifica National Board. Also, we have 3 musketeers, in my opinion, on that Pacifica National Board, which is 22 members, 4 from each station and 2 affiliate stations. We have 200 affiliate Pacifica stations, over 200. And they voted for this stupid loan and kept the deal secret until the last moment to vote. So even it was so done in typical unethical style. Are you finished? I'm finished. Okay.
We'll finish your thought and we'll go from there. All right, Anissa, this is your question. Please define what is meant by underrepresented communities that KPFT is, or the Pacifica mission rather, is to program to.
Well, I would definitely say underrepresented communities would be less than 1/3 of the board membership for sure, as well as a listening audience of an established listening audience of maybe 5,000 listeners. And these can be easily tracked by regular listeners during fund drives as sustaining listeners especially. And the underrepresented communities are a direct reflection of the country at large. It's the LGBTQ community. It is people of alternative faith and spiritual traditions. It is way beyond, not just the battle of the sexes where one partner listens and one partner may not. But mostly it's a lot of there is an inherent ageism. There aren't enough of the 18 to 49 demographic that the TV companies have been lauding to obtain for years and years and years.
That's
yeah, well, I was also going to make the joke that on the listener station board, in fact, it's reflected that it's generally the same people on the board every 3 years. I could essentially, move to a foreign island, and if I had children, they would take my seat. And if they weren't available, I have nieces and nephews who would be able to take my seat. I mean...
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you right there.
Yeah.
2 minutes is up. I'm going to allow Nancy now for about 30 seconds or so, but I'll let you get a full thought out.
Okay, about the underrepresented
Yes.
communities. Okay, I agree with Anisa, and I would add the homeless. We're not doing enough to go on the ground and put a mic in front of them and let them speak and get their voice on the air. And although we do have a prison show, the prison show, we don't have the prisoner's voice on the air, and that needs to be done. We do get the person who's going to be executed, if they wish, a voice 3 days or 4 days before they're executed. We do that on the...
Stop you right there.
Oh, there, okay.
That's fine. And Anissa, you have now 2 minutes, or 2 minutes if you choose to make a response to what she just said, what Nancy just said.
Oh, actually, I was going to say thank you, Nancy, and absolutely with the homeless and incarcerated. And there's a lot of people who have experienced those conditions in their lifetime. And there are a lot of people who are transient now through no fault of their own, through economic hardship, that really need Pacifica's voice.
Okay. All righty, and we'll go to another question now for you, Nancy. You brought this up in your opening statement. In '99, one of the issues that fueled a crisis within Pacifica was the consideration by the National Board to sell one or more of the Pacifica stations. Do you consider selling one of the stations or more of the stations as an option to resolve the financial problems that the National Pacifica network is in?
No, niet, nada, no. Because it's like 5 fingers on a hand. This is one of our directors said. You cut off one, you're still going to have the same problems. You're going to have good programming. You're going to have good outreach. And no, selling off a station, I would not do that. No. Okay, what else do you want me to say?
That's it.
That's it, okay.
Would you like to respond, Anissa?
I agree with Nancy. It's a horrible solution. I think we've had some directors who haven't admitted to the problem, but there are better alternatives to sustain or to build, and well, especially build the Pacifica family.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll do this question number 3 to, I'm sorry, question number 4 to you. What makes KPFT and Pacifica overall unique when compared to other listener-supported stations?
Well, the inherent term of listener-supported stations is very interesting because there really aren't that many that I know of. I was going to say, I know, especially among my friends, the impetus is to go towards the commercial stations and listen to commercial music. And because commercial stations become an earworm and build a familiarity in your daily culture, it's you know, a publicly sponsored entity is practically unknown. I ride the bus all the time, and rarely do I talk to somebody who knows what KPFT is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. And Nancy, you have a chance to respond.
Oh, and well, what she said was correct. But your question is, why is it so
why is it unique when compared?
Okay, it's unique. It was the first real public radio network in the country, you know, by listener sponsored. So if you're good enough, people will donate, so you don't have to do toothbrush or drugs or commercials. You don't have to have any commercials. So this is, thank you, Lou Hill, who started this idea. And so that's the unique part. But we just have to adjust to the different times. New people, young people, they walk around with a smartphone in their hand, and so they want click, 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 and then they want to look at a podcast. They want to look at maybe Spotify or Tiny Desk or Instagram, which we can do. We can have a live video with Tiny Desk or Instagram. That goes worldwide. We need. Oh,
that's okay. Sorry, we'll stop you right there. I was going to let you finish your thought, but we'll stop right there. And would you like to add anything to that?
And well, I was going to say absolutely, because like you asked of how it compares. In 1970, the whole idea of listener-sponsored radio was an interesting thing because radio was the medium of necessity, and because television hadn't gotten its tentacles in urban and suburban culture.
Okay. That's all? Okay. Yeah. We'll go on to another question. I'm going to give each of you one more question each, and then we'll wrap up. Nancy, in your opinion, how healthy or unhealthy is KPFT financially?
Okay, that's a good question because I don't know. Because we're not given any financial documents, and it's been like this over a decade and a half and more. The misguided majority of the KPFT board has always protected management from not giving us any financial documents. It's all secret. So we have to just go by what the manager says. And so now we've been having a turnover of managers. We're still not getting any real data. But as I said before, we have a the Pacifica National Board has hired an accounting firm that does other community radio stations accounting as well. So maybe we will see some good change. If not, we have to fight for it and have to demand it. And the listeners need to know about this because this is your money. I mean, you have the right to complain. You need to have the right to come to the board meetings when you can, those who can make it, and demand financial transparency. We don't have it. We don't have it in Pacifica. This at the top level and at the bottom level, you know, at the radio stations and at the PMB. We don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Would you like to respond to that?
Well, first and foremost, transparency among their patrons and providers is vital, and the fact that we let this go on for almost 2 decades now, I mean, who's complicit? Who's the one at fault? Are we to blame for not advocating stronger?
Okay. And I'm going to give you just one real quick chance to respond to that. And actually, we'll have to stop there. But go ahead and respond to that, and then we'll do our closing statements.
So I have to say thank you for putting in your time. These are 3 to 3.5 hours, sometimes 4 hours. We've even had 6-hour board meetings. That was the biggest one, longest one. Put their heart, their soul, and their blood and their time into this, and sometimes see no real big, success or results. But even only 1% that we can change things for the better, we lived our life correctly. That's all.
Okay. Now we're going to finish up with the closing statements. Each of you will be given about 2 minutes. We can pause for a minute while you gather your thoughts, and then we can begin.
And then the last minute is going to be used for the cart.
I'm sorry.
The last minute will be used for the cart.
No, this is the cart.
Oh,
Closing is the cart.
Yes.
2 minute cart. We don't have 2 minutes.
Well, if you don't,
It's one minute strictly.
Oh, so as soon as I start talking, it's going to be the cart.
Yes.
Oh, well, we were told something different. Like the last minute we speak will be the cart. Okay. Well, I need to know when 1 minute, because the cart's not going to be 2 minutes at the station. No way.
I can make sure that I cue you.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Hello, KPFT listener-sponsored members. My name is Nancy Saibara-Naitomi. I'm 3rd generation Japanese American, born and raised in Pasadena, Texas. I've been on the board for about 6.5 years, over a 10-year period, and I have not missed any board meetings except 5. I think I missed 5 in a 10-year period. So I'm a kind of slow learner, so I like to get as much information as possible, so I attend every committee that I can. And I try to listen to the PMB meetings, which is hard to do because they're at night, but they are streamed and supposed to be archived. There have been deletions in them, so if you want to listen to them live. The biggest problem in KPFT and Pacifica is this terrible loan that will start charging interest payments from October. And then we still have to pay the principal. And I suggest that we do obtain an ethical loan. There's somebody out there that's got the money to give us an ethical loan so we can get rid of this bad loan and then sell the properties and go to cheaper digs. Thank you.
And Anisa, whenever you have a moment to gather your thoughts, we will begin with your 1 minute closing statement.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Anisa Faruqi. I have 3 years of board experience, and I am coming to you for a second go-round. I'm 2nd generation Pakistani. I've lived my entire life in Spring Branch, in the Houston, Texas area. I went through public school my entire life. And since I'm currently living in 3rd Ward, I'd like to think I'm a real voice for the people on a real neighborhood level. I am basically your own Mr. Rogers.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we hope you have found this conversation enjoyable, and I urge you to visit kpft.org to watch or listen to this program again, or to the remainder of the candidate programs and conversations that are available to you. Ballots will be sent to all KPFT member listeners on August 15th. They do need to be returned by October 15th. And for more on the Pacifica elections, you can visit elections.pacifica.org. And we thank you for joining us today. I'm Tim Langford with the League of Women Voters of the Houston area. To learn more about the League of Women Voters, visit our website at www.lwvhouston.org. This program is a community service produced by the League of Women Voters Education Fund.